Hey guys, my name is Jasmine and today we're going to be making rainbows. Before we get started, I'm going to tell you what you need. You need at least one piece of paper, colored pencils, crayons, something to color with to make your color, a Sharpie, doesn't matter what kind of Sharpie, what kind of thickness it has, a drawing pencil, which is also a graphite pencil, and an eraser. So when I say we're going to be making rainbows, we're going to be basically working on memorizing the organization of a rainbow. So if you look at a color wheel like this one I have here, Roy G Biv is a way to remember it. So ROYGBV, that's Roy G Biv. Indigo is between violet and blue, between purple and blue, and indigo is kind of just a blue purple kind of color. But that's the way to remember it. ROYGBIF or BIV. Excuse me. I'll go back over that whenever I'm starting to lay down color. But so our color palette, which is the colors that we're going to be using, are those colors exactly what I just said, are rainbow colors. So there's red. I'm going to start pulling my colors. You can use color pencils, crayons, whatever you have. I'm going to mostly be using crayons. Red, yellow, orange, G for green, B for blue, then indigo. I'm going to mix my blue and purple. I'm going to layer my blue and purple. And then V for violet, which is also purple. So that's 7. And when we're making a rainbow here, you can make it any way you want. If you want to make an actual rainbow, you can make an actual rainbow. You can use letters, you can do bubble letters, you can do shapes, whatever you want, as long as you have 7 different categories for your 7 colors. So you can get started with your color immediately. You can get started with Sharpie, pencil. I'm going to get started with my Sharpie. And I'm actually, no, that's a lie. I'm going to start with my pencil because I'm going to do letters. So I'm going to do bubble letters. I'm going to try and make everything fit. This is my R. This is my O. Y. G. B, I, V. Everything's a little bit over to the right of my paper, but that's completely okay. And I'm going to go back over this with the Sharpie, and I'm going to erase my pencil lines. And I'm not going to be exact where my pencil lines are because I see where I can make things a little bit different. Here's my R for red, my O for orange, my Y for yellow, my G for green, my B for blue, my I for indigo, and my V for violet, which is also purple. I'm going to erase my pencil lines. And once again, you can do an actual rainbow. You can do shapes. You can do whatever you want as long as you have 7 of them, because each of these are going to be different colors. I'm actually going to pull out my colored pencils too, because whenever we're filling in these shapes, we're going to be thinking about basically what our colors can do. Depending on how hard we press down on our crayon or colored pencil, you can make it bolder. And also, different crayons and different colored pencils, they have kind of different tones to them, different shapes or shades. So for instance, my blue crayon might be a little bit of a different blue than my blue colored pencil. But we can use that to our advantage and help us bring out different patterns and stuff whenever we're coloring. So, all that to say that I'm gonna use both colored pencils and crayons. Green and red. So, I'm gonna get started on my art here, which is my red. And again, looking back at our color wheel, this is the order of our color wheel. This is the order of how colors kind of flow into one another. So I'm gonna get started. You can do a gradient. You can color it however you want. Just do whatever you want in the sense of that your single forms, your single letters, however you're gonna do yours, isn't just one solid color. So try and incorporate patterns, try and incorporate different pressures of how you color. Make your form kind of flow a little bit. So like for this one, I'm doing the outline of my R in my colored pencil red. I'm pressing down a little bit hard. And then I'm gonna go back in with the same utensil. I'm gonna keep using my colored pencil because I like this color red. And I'm gonna fill in the middle part, but I'm not gonna press down as hard. So it's not gonna look like one solid type of red. Then what I'm gonna do, and if you wanna do stuff in your background, you can do stuff in your background. I'm gonna keep my background blank, but you can color your background. You can make like a reverse rainbow, so it'd be Roy G Biv going this way, so red would be over here and purple would be over here. But again, I'm gonna leave my background blank, and I'm gonna go back in with my crayon, and I'm gonna do shapes on my R. So here's my red. I'm gonna put my colors that I've already used, I'm gonna put them back so I don't get them mixed up. I'm gonna move on to yellow. And I missed a small line. I'm going on to orange. My colors are backwards. O is for orange. So I'm gonna go in with my crayon. And maybe you don't really have a plan for each of your shapes. You don't necessarily need to have a plan, but if you want to plan out each of your shapes, each of your areas before you start coloring, you can do that. Kind of doing mine on the fly. I'm actually going to make this a gradient now. So it's darker up top, and then the closer I get to the bottom, I'm coloring lighter and lighter. And if you don't want to do patterns necessarily, like I said, you can play with how dark your colors are, how bold they look, how light you can make them. But you can also play with different shapes and different forms in your own forms. You can also you can make up a character, and you can color them in different colors. So there's my orange. Gonna put them up so don't get them mixed up. Moving on to yellow because Y is for yellow. Let's see. I'm gonna do stripes. I'm actually gonna switch out my yellow crayon and use one that's a little bit more golden. It'll be more noticeable between my colored pencil and my crayon. Let's start with my colored pencil. I'm gonna make my lines. There is my yellow colored pencil. I'm gonna put that away. Then gonna move on to my yellow crayon, which, like I mentioned before, it's a little bit different than my yellow colored pencil. It's a little bit more golden, but they're both still yellow. Next to orange, it might really look like it's orange, but it's called a dandelion yellow, so it's yellow. like a wavy lined situation here. In between, I'm going to use my colored pencil to fill in the white space so that my entire G is green. If you are doing shapes for your forms, so like say you're doing circles, you can also have them overlap, or you can have them separate. That's just another idea for you guys. Going back into my white spaces and filling them in with this green. There is my G. Moved on to blue, which is the B part of Roy G Biv. Gonna jump in with my colored pencil. Let's do a side-to-side gradient, maybe. So like with the orange, where I started out dark up top and ended up light on the bottom, I'm going to do this sideways. So from the left, I'm starting out darker. And the closer I get to the right side, I'm going to go lighter and lighter till it fades into a lighter blue. Well, actually, I'm going to take my blue colored pencil back out because I have to do indigo. So, like I mentioned at the beginning, indigo is kind of like a blue-purple color, a purple-blue color. So it's kind of these two colors mixed together. So to do that, we're going to layer them, and we're going to do that by kind of coloring lightly. We're not going to color too hard because if you color too hard, it's going to be hard for the other color to kind of show up over it. So I'm going to start out with my blue colored pencil. I'm going to start coloring over the entire thing using the same kind of pressure, coloring pretty lightly over the entire thing, trying to get as even a layer as possible. Go back over that blue with my purple. Again, I'm still coloring lightly, still trying to color as best as I can in a even layer. If you don't do an even layer, or if it kind of looks a little bit weird, it's fine, because you should still be able to see how your blue and purple layer over one another and how they interact with one another. Also, if you have an indigo crayon or colored pencil, or if you're using paint, you can mix your paints together directly to make your indigo. But it's also really fun to do this basically traditionally how I'm doing it, and see how you can continuously build those two colors and make them into another color, make them kind of blend. There is our indigo. So like with my other letters that I've already done, I want a pattern still. So in doing your pattern, you can kind of do the same thing between layering your blue and purple, or you can just mix them up and do like a pattern of blue and a pattern of purple. I'm going to do a pattern of blue and a pattern of purple. Let's see. I'm going to do something like my G, but I'm going to be doing this side to side instead of up and down. So there's my blue. I'm going to go back over with my purple. I'm going to color right next to my blue, actually, instead of layering them. That is our indigo. And then we have purple left, which is V for violet, because that's what it stands for in Roy G Biv. And I'm going to start with my crayon here. I'm actually going to do a wavy kind of situation. Let's see. So here's my crayon on the bottom. And there is that purple. So this is my rainbow. So once again, talk about Roy G Biv, which stands for red, which is here, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. It's the order of our color wheel, which is the way that the colors kind of flow naturally together. And that was also our palette, which we had a rainbow palette, which is very fun. You guys can do this again by doing letters like I did if you didn't before. You can also change up your letters. You can do like cursive letters or different kind of textured layers, different bubbly kind of layers, fluffy layers, whatever you want to do. You can also do shapes and characters like I mentioned before. I hope you guys do just that and make more. There are tons of possibilities for this. And I hope you guys do just that, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!